Hey friends, it's Dimitri with Rubashka Streetwear. So I have an interesting video here today about shipping hats, and I'm making a revision to a previous video about how to ship hats and some things that I learned from trial and error. So what I learned was that you can actually ship hats in a 7 by 7 by 4 box rather than a 7 by 7 by 7 box. I learned this kind of by accident. So a customer in Ireland, they bought a hat, and it's kind of expensive to ship out hats overseas from the United States because dimensionally boxes like this are kind of big, and the cost to ship the hat was going to be around $30, right? And I was like, man, that's so expensive. Of course, the customer, they pay some or all of that cost depending on the way your shipping is set up. But I was like, there has to be a cheaper way to ship this hat. And this is the hat I'm specific talking about. This is an unstructured dad hat. So basically the most important part of the hat is this bill, and you don't want this to get damaged or bent. But this part, it can fold and be like this and nothing's going to happen to the hat. And typically when you get them manufactured, either in the United States or overseas, they get shipped like that. This part can be a little bit bent in, or it's folded like this, so it'll be totally fine. So I took one of these boxes and I cut it down dimensionally so it would be about this size. The reason why is because this size with the hat and packing materials is under half a pound, and that was the goal, was to get it down to under half a pound, and that dramatically decreased the cost of shipping it. It went from basically almost $30 down to $19, and I even have some stats here. So I was playing around on the computer in my store. My store is set up with Shopify, so the shipping rates are discounted there, and they're different. They might be different for you. But so to ship a hat like this is an unstructured dad cap to, like, let's say a place like Germany, it would cost around $25 to $30 to ship in this box, a 7 by 7 by 7 box. And those are real rates. So what I did was, after I input this box on the computer to check it out and see if it'll be cheaper, that rate went down to $16 to $19, and that's depending on the countries that you're shipping to, in Europe or elsewhere. Now again, this whole procedure, it only applies to hats that can actually fit in here, and one of the best hats to fit in here is an unstructured hat. If you're using a structured hat like this, if it has foam padding in here, if it has other backing in the hat that makes it rigid, and if the hat is larger, so this is a hat that we made, it's a funny ATF meme hat. This hat is significantly wider than this hat. You can tell by the brim. So this hat will not fit in this smaller box. If I want it to fit in there, it's going to get crumpled and crushed, and that's not really an appealing way to get your product to the customer, right? You don't want this type of hat to be all crushed. This hat fits in the 7 by 7 by 7 box perfectly fine. As you can tell right there, it fits in there, and I've shipped them out like that multiple times without problems. In the past, obviously, I would ship out these hats in here, but look at this. Almost half of the box is basically empty space. And after playing around, like I said, I figured out that you can use the 7 by 7 by 4 box and it'll fit in here. Now the other cool thing about this is that when you use one of these, you can use any kind of packaging material like paper or plastic or whatever, or bubble wrap, but I like to use these. It's a square, and look at this. It actually fits there perfectly. And this is also great because you don't want anything that you ship out, you don't want it to be tumbling around. And I also will put, so if a customer orders one dad hat style, I'll put the hat in this, and I'll also put in a sticker and the packing slip and the shipping label on the tape, and all of that will come under half a pound to ship out, and that's how you will get those cheaper rates. So I'm going to test this right now and see where we're at with weight. So this is for 0.475 pounds. That's under half a pound, and like I said, with the added sticker and shipping label and all that stuff, it's still going to be under half a pound. So this is the coolest method to ship both in the United States and for international orders. So in the US, actually, it's pretty significant too. I just did, someone ordered a hat earlier and I already had their order set up. So if I shipped out their order with that dad cap in a box like this, the larger box, it would be $5.33. But in this box, that went all the way down to $4.44 because USPS, they go off dimensional properties and weights with their packages. So the smaller you can get it, the better. And I was thinking about this, man, for some reason, it didn't click to me to try to figure out if I can make this smaller. I was going off on some sort of cognitive bias, basically, when I decided to use this box. Now, like I said, if you have structured hats, which is probably a lot of hats, probably like most hats are like this is definitely the box that you want to go off of. And that's the information that I went off of in the past when I was researching how to ship hats. But I didn't realize that if you have unstructured hats that are a little bit more malleable like this, and they will fit in a box like this, no problem, and they will ship out like this, no problem. So that is something I'm excited about. I definitely, probably threw away hundreds and hundreds of dollars, actually more like thousands of dollars over the years, just shipping them out a little bit incorrectly. So now that I kind of learned this, I'm excited about that because it'll definitely save a lot of money. And it's information that I think you guys will like to know. So yeah, that's a way that you can ship out hats cheaper, using a smaller box for this specific hat style. And then definitely you can still be using this box for structured hats like this. So I hope that video helps you guys. If you have any comments or questions, leave them down in the comment section below. And I'll catch you guys later. Thanks.